Welcome, Danny, Professor Danny. Yeah. You are the expert from social media, everything connected with branding and entrepreneur, now on the world tour, visiting Australia from US. Big presence on all social media channels. What is your follow-ups on the Instagram? I think that's a quite big number.
Dude, I mean, Instagram, we just passed 65,000 yesterday, and we're trekking to hit 100K over the next couple months on a pretty good trajectory. But dude, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
That's great. And here you have the Laban Ditchburn, okay, the world best courage coach.
Thank you very much for having us, Rick. It's a real thrill. Thanks for looking after us today.
Pleasure to have you guys here, and I hope that we have a very interesting conversation today. So welcome guys in our podcast. It's the first episode, so I'm really happy that you make it here.
Dude, well, I first want to say, like, thanks for having us on, man. Like, really appreciate it. It's an honor to be the guest on the first episode of the podcast, bro. I love what you guys are doing. So
you are like godfathers. And we have a few topics to talk about. Maybe later on we'll play a little bit, but it's all about the good game. So, Danny, tell me what businesses in 2025 get wrong about social media.
Yeah, man. But I mean, in terms of social media in 2025, I think in particular to 2025, I think that a lot of people are going to use AI really wrong when it comes to social media. If you go back onto podcasts that I was speaking on, or like even courses that I had made over 12 months ago, I would say, like, do not use AI when it comes to making content. And it was just because I didn't know how to use it the right way. And I think a lot of people with like ChatGPT starting to get very powerful, Claude starting to get very powerful, a lot of people are making their content with AI and just copy and pasting it. And at least for me, and I know for yourself as well, like, you can see when people are copy and pasting it, and it just, like, it looks so embarrassing. And I see, like, even some bigger brands, for example, they're just not using AI the right way when it comes to content. And I think it's just a bad look on the brand, like when you're copy and pasting, or like when people who send the emails and they like forget to take off the top part. It's like, great question, here's your email, and then they paste the email.
Or they leave the long dashes inside the text. And you already know that's the signature.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Bold with the slash at the bottom. Yeah. I think it's going to be misutilization of AI or not utilizing AI, because I was able to ramp up my content output for my personal brand and for client pages as well by using AI with less team. So it's either going to be underutilization or misutilization of AI for 2025 in particular. But in terms of just overall, the mistake that everyone makes is just lack of consistency and just wanting a cookie way too soon and quitting before they get the cookie.
Okay. So now I hit to you, Laban. What do you think about the authenticity and be yourself with still using the AI tools? How you approach this? Do you use the AI to do part of your work? This helps you in some instances, or you just stay away and keep clear?
Look, I was really resistant to AI. Like, I think Danny was as well. Like, in the interim, it was like, this is just going to come across as disingenuous, whatever. And one of the things that I really encourage people that I'm talking to about this subject is, one, it's super important that you figure out how to use this stuff, because if you don't, you're going to get left behind. All right, and the gap is increasing ever so quickly. So that's the first thing I'd say. And I use it, and I know a lot of other people use it as a way to enhance the genius. If you've ever seen that movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper, he takes the NZT and he says it works better on smarter people. And I think it's a great analogy for this. But I also encourage myself to write human. And so I've committed to a blog post that I write myself and publish every 2 weeks on Substack. And very occasionally I'll run it through AI just to clear up the grammar and to make sure that it's not changing anything, because it has to be, like, school wasn't my strongest subject. In fact, I got the same exact score 2 years in a row with the same subjects, science and economics, using the same curriculum 2 years in a row. So some evidence there that maybe AI could help clean that up. But using that part of your brain to write, there's a lot of benefits to it. It's very cathartic. It activates a creative part of the brain that I really didn't know existed. And I experienced that when I wrote my first book. I wrote the book to help other people, but I help myself tremendously. So with whatever your discipline, right? Mine's around courage and inspiring other people by overcoming addiction, whether you're an accountant, a plumber, or a social media genius, like continue to write and maintain that discipline, and that'll further enhance what you're trying to do. That's a very high level response, I think. It's a much deeper topic to go into if you want to, but that's my... Does that answer your question, Eric?
Yeah. You think, guys, that AI at this moment, when we get lazy, make us people a little bit dumber? So decrease our creativity, decrease our brightness? What is your take on this?
I think it definitely has potential. I mean, to me, it's still like it's still very new. You know, it's still very like, okay, I can get lazy and hit the wall around 5 p.m. on a long work day, and then just like really start to rely on AI. But I'd be really curious to see how it goes long term. But I think what Laban said is super important. Just like making a point to actually write yourself a bit too, because like it's so easy. Like I was in college. I dropped out a little less than 2 years ago, and one of the last classes I took was when ChatGPT was just starting to like come out, and you couldn't have it do anything for you. Like it was really, really bad, and now it's really good. And this is from, to preface, which I should have said on the first question I answered, is I am no AI expert whatsoever. I use it in the day-to-day, and I try to get better at it every day, but I'd be really, really curious to see how it goes in terms of that over the next few years, and then over the long term too. I mean, they call them like iPad kids that grow up on the iPads. Like, what about the AI kids? May not know anything. You just only ask the AI.
Yeah. And what I observed already with my academia friends, that they are battling now between the students overusing the AI, but also the academics teachers overusing AI to check the essays written by AI. So we are just catching this loop that I don't know where this is heading, but that's the reality. So yeah, but main important thing is how this impact the businesses. Because I talk a lot of business owners around the coast and in big cities. People didn't realize yet how big impact the AI will make on the market in this year. What is coming is that tsunami wave. Some of them getting prepared and getting ready, but most don't have a clue. They think, okay, ChatGPT is the thing that can write email, can do something for you, but that's not the case. So what is your point of view, how the businesses, from your experience, are ready or not ready to what is coming?
It's like, to me, it's like adapt or die. Like you either adapt to it or you go out of business. And I think what that means for at least the agency space that I can speak on, or like the digital marketing companies, things of that nature, it's like we have a very limited time over the next couple of years to be able to help bigger businesses implement AI into their companies and charge human prices for AI things. I think over the next 3 years, I mean, that's even being pretty conservative. I'd imagine over the next like 1 to 2 years, the businesses that can't figure out how to do it, I mean, they're gonna go under. I talk to business owners and work with them all the time. Like my main target audience for who we help grow personal brands is business owners. And there was one I was talking to literally last week. It was like, we went from a team of 47 to 7.
Yeah, here is my question. You think that this is the way to do this transformation, just to replace people with the AI, or?
I mean, as a business owner myself, I mean, would you rather pay 40 extra people or figure out how to use the AI? I mean, I think it's just business at that point. I think that we'll enter the age where the first single person company, billion-dollar companies will start to come up. It's like Laban said, it works better when you're smarter. So I think the people who are able to use it the right way, which is something I'm trying to make it a point to learn as much as I can, because I understand I don't know much about it on the grand scheme of things, but I think it's going to be nuts over the next couple of years. That's what I can speak on.
I think my contribution to what Danny's already saying so brilliantly is that, and this came up in conversation less than 30 minutes ago with Donnie, the amazing videographer there, and we were talking about, like, he was asking me, like, what do you think's like the thing that I should focus on? And this hasn't really changed for the last 5 years that I've been in this space, is to work on learning how to use your voice as an instrument. Because, and what I mean by that is, if you can learn how to articulate yourself, and the example that a very well-known communication coach who I stole this from, he says, if you're a 10 out of 10 up here, and particularly people in jobs and big blue chips that are working in tech or finance or whatever, are often brilliant, but their ability to communicate is a 4. The way that they are perceived is, what do you think? It's a 4, right? So if you can get that from 10 to a 7 to an 8, when the layoffs come through the company, the people that are able to actually converse and add a tremendous amount of value, they'll be the ones that are the last to go. And then maybe they are put in charge of running AI teams or whatever. I have no idea with this. I'm not an AI guy. Yeah. I'm way less of an AI guy than Danny, but that's what I can see. I can't see a world where communication ever gets phased out, even though they can clone my voice. And Rek, you installed this incredible chatbot on my webpage. Go to labanditchburn.com and have a conversation with me. It'll blow your socks off. It will blow your socks off because you can ask it anything. Yeah. It won't say anything naughty. I have tried that, but like, you know, Donnie was talking about being a filmmaker, and it was. I was like, damn, that was good, yo. So that's my 2 cents at least.
So following this, what you really see in your job that you are 100% sure that AI cannot replace? Is something like this?
My witty sense of humor.
I mean, I was gonna say like the face, but then again, like there are channels that I know on Instagram that are growing really fast that are literally just AI generated. Like I don't know what are they even called? Like the avatars. The avatars. Yeah. I don't know. I think it can all get replaced.
I sound like Sean Connery. Interactions. In-person interactions. Like, I mean, maybe in 10, 15 years, we'll be looking back at this going, well, that escalated quickly. But I think, like, just focus on what you can control right now. And, like, most of the issues that I see in the world are from communication breakdowns. Well, most of disagreements are around clarity and not being, you know, able to understand what's going on in all areas of life. So work on those, and then you'll be able to be in a much better position later on to figure out, like, the next move when AI, you know, the overlords come and take us out, and it's Sarah Connor and Terminator 2 movie. I don't know.
So you say please and thank you to the AI, so when they take over.
So you can see here that we have a little bit of a leadership problem because the leaders cannot really decide what to do with this tech, and they just blindly make the arms race without any control. So something like this happens, you think?
In terms of like leadership inside of the company not being able to implement properly or like train the team on it? I mean, I would imagine I'd presume that everybody should be training the team on AI too. I mean, like, for example, one of the things that we're doing inside of Brand Sharks right now is like script writing for clients. Like that's one of the things that was just absolutely like so time consuming for me that I couldn't even scale to the places I want to scale because it's either myself or someone else doing manual labor writing the scripts. So now instead of like on the script writing calls we'll have with the team, it used to be like, hey, like you should write the script like this, or you should write the script like that, or on our coaching calls with our clients, like you should write your scripts like this, you should write your script like that. Instead, it's now, no, say this to the AI. Like if you want the better script, like here's how you train the AI to write the script for you. So I think that, I mean, the companies that can implement it, the leaderships that's willing to integrate that into their companies, they'll be able to do a lot better. I mean, we're at least trying to. That's what I can speak on. Like I said, I'm no AI guru. I try and specialize in something very narrow, which is social media. But everything that I can do with AI to make my life easier and make the business run more efficiently and provide better service for the clients, like I'm down. 100%.
So in regards to those social media campaigns that you run, do you use the fire and forgot systems, or you just implement everything with the accuracy of the human eye? So you automate the stuff, or?
So we're not necessarily automating like the actual posts that go out. In terms of the social media algorithms, especially Instagram, there's a lot like you're not going to get as much reach if you're putting posts out through like a software or an automatic scheduler. There are some people who really just want to nurture their audience and just get as many posts out as possible. I think that scheduling tools are good for something like that. But if you want maximum reach, like I still have people on payroll that are just like making sure they're logged in to the Instagram account on the phone or on the company iPad. It's just like they're clicking the button. So we're automating more on like the script writing and the creative process, because that was just the insane mega time consuming thing for us. And like when we cracked the code to that, like my workload on scripting went from 40 hours a week to 4. And now we can bring on effectively 10x more clients from doing that. So I don't know if it's necessarily like automated, but more just like AI enhanced, I guess you could say.
I think, Rick, if I could jump in, like if, you described this at with your keynote the other day about the actual process of what you were doing in terms of what you were previously doing, and then what you were doing in terms of creating the scripts. Would you explain that to Rick and the audience? I think that'd be awesome. Like, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so before what I was doing that was still taking me a lot of time with AI, and this is in reference to give a bit of extra context, just in social media, short form script writing. So it used to be a completely manual task where like if you would feed something into AI, it would give you back just like terrible content. Like there were times I'd try all AI written scripts and I just look back into the camera and the teleprompter like, I'm not saying this, you know what I mean? Like, this does not just sound like a human at all. So what I had previously done in terms of script writing when we first introduced like AI properly was we would take what AI would write and then we would train it. Like I'd rewrite the script and then I'd say, hey, I changed these things about it. Now try a script with this idea. And then it would write it a bit better. And then I'd change that one and then it'd write it a bit better. And then I'd change that one and I'd just kind of like train it over and over again. And that was still taking a long time. So now what we've done is we built a really, really sick AI system when it comes to script writing. We've trained it on all of our frameworks, all of our templates. Like I've posted over 300 times personally on Instagram in the last 2 months. So there's a lot of data that we could train the AI with. And just from that, all the different types of videos that we've done, we're able to give it that knowledge base. And now like someone like yourself, for example, like with the AI system that we've built for script writing, we could even transcribe this podcast and be like, yo, make me 5 video scripts about the stuff that Eric said inside of the podcast. And it could make you viral short form script just like that. So go from 40 hours to 4 hours is like...
Great use case.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like full-time job to like, what do I do with all this time? You know, it's like...
So yeah, it's Monday. What you will do with the rest of your week?
Yeah, exactly. 6-day weekend. Yeah. No, I enjoy working 7 days a week. It's my fun.
So, going a little bit aside of the AI space, more question about the business and culture. So, how you guys see the leadership change between Gen Z and Gen X? You see the differences, how this operates, how this behave?
What am I? 1980? Is that Gen?
You are Gen
X?
I think.
Am I because 1 year before?
Maybe you are on the edge.
We'll work
I'm
it
not
out.
sure, yeah.
You go first, Danny.
Yeah, well, I can speak from a Danny perspective and not necessarily like a Gen Z perspective, because I've had the privilege to both be a contractor for and play sports under and work for some really, really good leaders and some really, really bad leaders. So my leadership style, I mean, to preface, like I'm 22 years old, been at my company Brand Sharks for a bit over 1.5 years now, like actually running a team, running an organization. And I just try to take, and same thing with the offer, same thing with the way that we service clients, I try and take the stuff that I've seen that's good from other people and fix the stuff that I've seen that's bad from other people in order to just like make this kind of super nice thing. And this is just my approach to doing it. I'm sure I'll learn more efficient ways to go as we go. But one of the ways I saw really effective, because when I was in college, I played Division I volleyball at Long Island University. And the first year that I was there, we were a brand new team. And like all of us, it was our first year at school. We were a bunch of freshmen from all over the country. Like we were not supposed to do very good at all. And we ended up beating some pretty good teams. Like there's one of the teams that we played was Hawaii, and they had a lot of Olympic players on their team. And we were just like this ragtag group of guys, like compared to them. And we were able to win a set off of them. And I credit a lot of it, like pretty much all of it, to the coach that we had. Like we were an army of sheep led by a lion. And that guy would just burn people at the stake when they did something wrong. Like someone was late to practice, the entire team was running. And then the entire team would turn on that one person and be like, yo, like, you were late. Like, and he would make the person who was late sit on the side and watch everyone else run. And we'd run. And the person would have to sit there. And sometimes the person would try and come in and start running and be like, no, sit, like, watch. Like, watch what you were 5 minutes late. Because if you're not 5 minutes early, you're late. And it was just like that, just super rigid leadership style. And some of the players didn't like him. They're like, oh man, I didn't want to play for this guy. I personally really liked it because we became really good. Like we were beating teams we should not have been beating because like the leadership style was like that. So for me, I wanna cultivate an environment inside of my company where sharks can really grow. Where like, okay, I'm a shark and I'm okay with being disciplined inside of the company. Like when I know I could have done better. I'm like, look, I have everyone's best interest in mind that's coming and working for us. But that sometimes manifests itself as like, yo, you gotta do better. Like we do not show up late to meetings. Like we had a lot of people, if anyone's ever had video editors before, you know they're pretty hard to work with sometimes. I hosted the meetings with video editors every single week on Wednesday with our team. So we could just like build the culture and just kind of like talk about what we were doing as a company. And I made it a point. I said, if anybody was even 1 minute late to the call, they would just sit in the waiting room. Like I would not let them in. Like it would say meeting is in progress and they'd just be sitting in the waiting room. Like we'd have our calls at 12 Eastern. If they showed up at 12:01, like I was not letting them in. They could sit there and just be like, God, I shouldn't have been late. Because to at least someone like me, people are like, oh, it's just 1 minute, right? No, it's not the 1 minute of time that was lost. It's the fact that you don't respect yourself, you don't respect the company, and how you do one thing is how you do everything. So that to me is how I want to run my company because I've seen it work successfully in different environments, and I've seen the sort of like lackadaisical leadership style really just like crumble. People don't respect the leader. But the big key to all of that, the big like umbrella at the top is that the leader is also super disciplined. Because if I'm out drinking on Friday nights and if I'm late to meetings, I can't say show up at 12 or you're gonna sit in the waiting room if I show up at 12:02.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. I'm not sure if I can speak on like Gen Z as a whole because I think that our generation has a lot of work to do in terms of business, myself included, because we're taught that it's super easy. And all the courses are about lead generation and landing clients and never about like client fulfillment. So I think we have a lot to learn in terms of fulfillment, in terms of leadership, in terms of management. And I think it's fine for right now. I mean, Gen Z, I think I'm an older Gen Z. I'm 22. I think the oldest Gen Z is 28.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay given the trajectory of where the generation's at, but that's just my take on it, if that answers your question.
Okay. You will add something.
There's a couple of things that spring to mind as Danny's sharing this stuff because it's interesting. Like, I think I was talking about this the other night with someone. Like, I was 19 before I got my first email address, and you know, the internet was like this entertaining joke thing until probably like my early 20s. But I think about my generation and older, what this new evolution of technology and information is going to expose people that are coasting and politicians and people that have been spouting a bunch of bollocks. And I read a book in 2017 by Mark Manson called Models. And it was a book, I was trying to learn how to meet women. It was called Attracting Women Through Honesty. And I used to tell lots of white lies to the ladies, and that didn't work out very well. And I tried this honesty thing and it started to work. And I was having so much success that I then met my now wife as a result of being totally transparent and honest. And so I live my life in as much integrity as I can to follow that same pathway based on the proviso that I don't know what's going to happen in the future. And I even thought about this even before I knew about AI and ChatGPT, is that like, as things progress, is there any chance that I can be exposed for trying to hide things now? And you look at some of the cultural things that have happened in the world with what's been going on in politics and in Hollywood and in the corporate sector as well. It's 5 minutes for you to be able to find a speech or like a transcription of a speech or something that you can just punch into AI and like it can find all the holes in Watergate and whatever was going on at the time. And if I was a CEO in charge of a big company and I had been operating out of integrity for a long time, I would be sweating bullets because you're gone. And it's undeniable proof because people who just deny and have the media spin on it. But now everyday citizens can like fact check this stuff and find it out really quickly. So I think being in integrity and doing exactly a lot of the stuff that Danny was talking about, fostering those cultures encouraging people to step like into the fear of like learning this thing that's quite scary. And if, you know, I talk to people of all age ranges at all, and I was, you know, talking to a 73-year-old lady yesterday in this car park, and there's a whole backstory to that, but like, you know, she's scrolling on Instagram. We were talking about a few things. She was a very intelligent woman. She had a PhD, I think. And we're talking about some AI stuff. And like, she's, oh, I don't even want to go near it. But little does she know that it can solve a number of challenges around the home. And like, it's infinite. Yeah. It's infinite intelligence, right?
That's true. That's true. So just looking at your expertise, you think that for you, the time will open new doors to build the courage for people to play with the high technology, because they usually quite scared with everything what is said about AI, about innovation, this kind of stuff?
This example blew me away when I first learned it. When credit cards first came out, it took 40 years for people to adopt them. 40 years. Think about that. Think how convenient a credit card is these days, and the protection it provides. 40 years for people to adopt. So things are obviously happening at a much faster rate of knots, and there's some interesting theories about whether the actual fabric of time is speeding up. And as I hit my 45th birthday later this year, it kind of feels like it is, right? And that's why you look back at photographs of people that, say, 45, 30 years ago, it looked like they're about 100. And then, you know, look at me now and I'm like, Robert Redford or something, I don't know. Like, so I'm kind of deviating a little bit here, but you kind of get the point. It's like, it is exactly what Danny said, is adapt or die, and that principle has existed for a very long time, and it may not seem fair, and it may not seem like it's, you know, fuzzy and all those things, but adapt or die.
I hope I look like you when I'm 45.
Flattery will get you everywhere. You can't ChatGPT that.
Yeah. What should I say to the lovely looking podcast host that's next to me?
So then a quick question for you. Do you see any big differences between the US market and Australian market in regards to the business and approach for advertisement, for social media, this kind of stuff? What is your view on this?
I haven't seen anything in the time that I've been here, but I've heard a pretty big theme, other than using a bunch of weird words and saying mate a lot of time. Other than that, the big recurring theme has just been that and I think Laban can definitely speak on this too, because he's worked with both of the markets like a lot more than I have. I've been like pretty much solely in the US market, but what I hear a lot is that the American market has a much higher propensity to just invest into themselves and understand that it takes money to make money and that they need to like grow into personal development, whereas the Australian market is kind of just more like, what do you mean? Kind of like laid back. Is that a fair claim? That's just what I've heard, and I'm relaying information based off the question, but I think Laban would probably do an excellent job answering that one.
Yeah, I mean, I only share my own personal experiences and sort of anecdotes of conversations that have been had, but like a really simple example is I did a presentation at a major Australian bank about 3 years ago. Let's just call it the acronym ANZ, for example, right? And I was doing a presentation to a group of probably what would be the most nerdy, introverted, typical group of people in an organisation. And I remember this at the start of the presentation, I was talking about like, has anyone here heard of Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, Brene Brown? And one person goes, I think my wife read that book. And it was like, now if you're watching this and you haven't heard of these names, you need to learn about some of these names. Like, but whereas if you do that in any part of America, usually a lot more people have a propensity. And so that ties in exactly with what Danny's talking about. They are probably a lot further along in their evolution of culture. They're used to seeing the value of investing in themselves. I get the feeling that a lot of the really good schools that, you know, and universities in the States bring in a lot of speakers. Like that never happened at my school, just anecdotally from like, oh, I saw Jim Rohn when I was like, you know, at high school or whatever, back in the old school days. Or Tony Robbins did a presentation. Maybe that's just, you know, a coincidence. But I mean, one thing that really shocked me, and I'm not hating on my Aussie compatriots here, because I'm actually half New Zealand, half Australian. I'm very proud of both, right? I'm very blessed to be able to live in this country. But I came back from 2.5 years traveling April last year. so about a year ago, for context. And what really shocked me when I started to reconnect with a bunch of the speakers and the people that are ensconced in personal and professional development was the negative Nelly mindset, focused on the cost of eggs and the price of gas and all these things. And it's not a judgment on these people, it's just an observation. It was like, if that's what they're dealing with, and they're talking themselves out of this whole prosperity mindset, because it is a mindset and it's a decision and the direction you want to go, and you can clear out all the stuff. It does affect you when it's in the media and stuff all the time. But like, if that's what they're dealing with, what's the average punter that hasn't had exposure to this stuff? And
it's like, it's always a new word. I'm sorry. It's just I've learned an entire new language.
Punter means about 9 things in the Australian vernacular, but it's like, I do have a lot of empathy. So like, what can we do? And it's exactly what Danny was touching on. Leaders of organizations need to do better and go, right, this is something that we need to teach our people about, to give them a shot of like keeping their job, or at least learning a skill that they can go and get another job when their job's wiped out. So I don't know, what do you think about that, Danny?
I agree, man.
Yeah. So the mindset is the king.
I think it is 100%, because it's like there's I want to say it's Margaret Thatcher. It's like, you know, watch your thoughts become your words, watch your words become your actions, watch your actions become your life, or something like that. I know I didn't say it perfectly, but essentially like if you're like, also the second piece of that is like, if this is where you are most of the time, like most of the words that we like think / say fall into the category of thinking them. Like we're just sitting there thinking most of the time. I was just sitting on a plane. I'm like, man, I'm talking to myself the whole time in the brain. And it's like good, positive thoughts. I'm like, man, imagine if all this was negative. Like that would kind of suck. It's like this is where we live all day, except for when we're talking to other people. And like you're the only person you got to look in the mirror at the end of every day. And I think it's really important what goes on up here, but also just how you look at things, because there's always something to take away from every interaction, positive or negative. Like I give an extreme example of when I lost all of my money in the later half of last year due to a bad business partner. Like anyone could look at that as objective failure and like worst thing ever to happen. I'm trying to look at it as like, okay, there's my business tuition. I now have an education in business, and they say when money meets experience, the experience gets the money, and the money gets the experience. And I got the experience, or I could have just cried about it. So it's 100% mindset is where it all starts. If this is shot, then.
Ironically, it probably cost you less than a current college education in the United States, which is worth less. Is that too soon?
Maybe. Who knows? But yes, but the mindset is the main thing. That's why I was really impressed when I saw you guys start running those 25Ks podcast that we produce later in the week. Just being part of this, I was thinking, okay, the guys in your age, probably now sitting on the front of the computers, gaming in Call of Duty or whatever is now on the top, or other Fortnite Revengers, and they don't think really what is on the front of them, what is the next step, what to do to be successful, what to do to don't be the loser in the game.
I think I feel like there's a couple different stages of where people are at, and the one I feel the most bad for is the people who have the unknown unknowns. Like some of the gamers in Call of Duty, like they don't know who Tony Robbins is, they don't know who Jim Rohn is, they haven't gotten their eyes opened up to this yet, so they don't even know it exists. Those are ones I feel the most bad for, because like, oh, all I know is Call of Duty. Like I want to be the best when it comes to gaming.
If they in the high game and can earn the money on this, it's the pro gamers, but that's just the percentile of the.
Well, I have respect for everybody. That even whatever game you're playing, or whatever game of life you're playing, whatever endeavor that you're going through, if you're trying to be the very best at it, I have respect for you. But I think the first stage, which is the toughest one to be in, is when you just don't know what's out there. Like it's a ceiling that you don't know is there, and you keep banging your head. It's like a fly that's trying to get out of a glass wall, and you just don't even know. It's like, oh, it's a glass wall, I can't get out of it. The second one is like, okay, you got opened up to the fact that this kind of world exists, personal development, you can make money from anywhere in the world, and you can constantly level up and do cool things, but you're not doing anything. And I think that that's the worst headspace to possibly live in, where like you know what's possible, but you're not taking action. So like you subconsciously just hate yourself because you're like, oh, well, I see guys that are doing this, I see girls that are doing this, but I'm not. actioning on it at all. I'm sitting here and still playing Call of Duty. That's the worst one to be in. And then you break free from it, which is really hard to do. And you just do whatever you want, moving the ball down the field. But it's tough because you got to cut some of your friends off. Some of your friends are going to go, oh, what do you mean you're listening to Tony Robbins? What is this business podcast? Why don't you come out and drink with us on the weekends anymore, man? What happened to you? And you got to shed some people. But this is where I think the freedom lies.
So a little bit part the question to you, Laban. You think that the people would do this stuff and know that the way can be different, they just lack of courage to just make this first step and move in the direction that they would like to move, but they still, I will perfect this, I will wait for the perfect moment to do the move, maybe the next week the stars will align and I will be ready to go. What is your take on this?
Well, look, let me just share my own personal experience, right? Because the amount of Alex the Kid that I played on the Sega Master System 2 back in the day, and the movies and the TVs were all escapism. They were escapism because my home life at the time, for context, was a child of divorce, and there was custody battles and visitation and the disruption that happens, which is happening in 50% of all marriages, right? And I didn't know that. That was my way of getting through things. As I got older, it became drinking and gambling and drugs and basically anything you get hooked to that was no good for you, I'd get stuck into it. And what happens, right, if you don't make it a decision to go, right, I'm going to go get better at this, I call them like love taps from God. And what that is like, as you're going along, with whatever you believe in, it's from a spiritual point of view or whatever, like, you keep doing these things, you keep playing Call of Duty, and then you get a gentle tap, right? And it's like, you ignore it. You keep going, and you get another one. Keep going, and then whack! And all of a sudden, you're 35, you're single, you're out of shape, you're in a job you hate, and you're seriously considering taking your own life. And I don't want to seem dramatic, but that's exactly the situation I got myself into. And it was only through that massive God whack that I was able to go, right, I needed to take action on this now, because it's like, otherwise I'm dead. And I knew that I was always destined to do great things. I didn't know what it was specifically, but I knew at 35 that it wasn't the great thing that I thought about, right? So you can maybe wait for that moment. And I often sometimes encourage people to think about how they can speed up that process of like finding their rock bottom, and hope in the hope that they won't do any permanent damage or hurt anyone permanently. And it sounds a bit crazy, but that's the thing that gives you the courage, because it's so terrifying. And I love the fact that Danny brings this up all the time, your quote around courage, because I'm going to butcher it, which is outrageous because I'm a courage coach, about the courage quote.
Yeah, courage is not having fear, but acting regardless of having the fear.
Love it. And with this sentence, we can wrap up our interview. Quick question, guys. Where are people that looking now at this interview can find you?
Professor Danny on Instagram is the hub where everything happens. Super active on there, and love to post, and would love to hear from you guys.
LabanDitchburn.com. In fact, if you just Google Laban and Ditchburn, I think I'm the only one on the planet. And if there is, he's a recluse and has an EMP and has no technology. But yeah, you can't. If you're not finding me, you're not looking hard enough.
Okay, and if you would like to leave the one great advice to the viewers, what will be?
Whatever you're thinking about doing, that might be a big risk, that might kind of scare you. Whether you succeed or whether you fail, it'll be worth it and you should do it.
Sounds good.
I just think of a quote that I often love to use, and it's real simple, and it's helped me tremendously, and I got it from Les Brown. He says, "What people think of me is none of my spiritual business." And it's a tough one in the early stages. But if you can truly push through that part of it and the fear of losing the circle of friends that maybe don't have your best interest at heart, I can guarantee you, never trust anyone that says trust me, but trust me, it's very powerful.
Thank you very much. So thank you guys. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, brother.
I really appreciate, and see you in the next podcast. Thank you very much.